Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Commissioner Ray.
Present.
Chair Strebs. Vice Chair Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Wheeler. Here. Commissioner DeLue.
Here.
Commissioner Gisler.
Here.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Commissioner Mazer. You have 6 present.
All right, thank you. Next we have proclamations. I see none on our agenda. Followed by communications. We have a monthly financial report from Director Post. I'd encourage all commissioners to go through that. It's good information. Notice for hearing for the electric customers of Indiana Michigan Power Company, case number U-22028. Continuum of Care Winter Solutions final report. Continuum of Care Winter Solutions final report, and a resolution from Washtenaw County allocating funds to Planned Parenthood of Michigan. Is there any other communications from commissioners? All right, next is the approval of minutes. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the July 7th, 2026 draft Committee of the Whole and regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Is this a roll call vote, clerk? Nope. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Approval is moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that math passes. Next is presentations. There is none on our agenda right now. Then public hearings, of which there are none on our agenda right now. This takes us into public comment. Please give us any members of the public wishing to address the board. Give us your name, where you're from, and you have up to 3 minutes. No worries.
Good evening. My name is Rhonda Walters. I live at 12480 South 18th Street in Vicksburg. These comments are based on the issues with the Road Commission and their intent to remove thousands of trees from our county. So I'm proposing that they would make a more incremental approach to deal with the roadside trees. Their own studies show that rumble strips significantly reduce numbers of crashes. So why wouldn't you begin with rumble strips before embarking on a clear-cutting campaign? Why would you completely omit the rumble strips for special interest groups? Are we not looking to improve safety for automobile drivers? If rumble strips are inconvenient for a few, then they could take a different route. After all, a road deemed so hazardous as to make it necessary to clear cut, then those are routes to be avoided for their safety. Wouldn't an incremental approach, such as starting with cleanup of dead trees, then the hazardous ones could be dealt with more quickly, and then go back and take out any other trees? The tree work you propose is going to be extremely hazardous and inconvenient for motorists. However, how many 80-year-old trees can you remove in a day? Many areas along U Avenue would take many days of road closures, perhaps weeks. I don't know whether you are selling the tree trunks, but if you are, then that would still leave the branches and crowns. What kind of mess and danger will that be left beside the roads, and for how long? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rob Morrison. I'm at 5188 Green Meadow Road in Oshtemo Township. Our planning commission is drafting a revised energy ordinance to include a battery energy storage system. A developer has leased a site in a rural residential area in close proximity to a farm and residences. The site is on shallow permeable land on the west boundary of the township. There are groundwater, wetlands, and sensitive environmental areas that are by that site that really affect Kalamazoo County and also Almena Township. Recently, the Michigan Supreme Court ruled on a lawsuit brought by 79 townships against the Michigan Public Services Commission. The lawsuit argued that the MPSC illegally rewrote PA 233, the Renewable Energy Siting Act, going beyond legislative intent in specific areas, and the court agreed most significantly that all local governments are affected local units. Last week, Eagle started approving permits for the Line 5 tunnel, claiming that the tunnel's need outweighed public interest and acknowledged there will be significant impacts. Local voices and local decisions where it concerns our ability to live sustainably are being overridden by wealthy interests, and there is no rule of law where established environmental protections already exist. In light of the state's failure to protect our natural resources, despite overwhelming scientific evidence, I am asking the Commission to take a more active role in helping townships protect their land and water from proven environmentally destructive technologies, such as lithium-ion batteries that have a propensity to catch fire with devastating consequences. Energy resources are a large and complex system that local communities have had to tackle on their own and are now collaborating and sharing resources. The Environmental Concerns Committee is one unit that could take this on and help the county share resources and strategies. This committee did not meet this month and is scheduled to meet in August, where I will attend and make the same request. I believe a collaborative effort is necessary to protect our health, water, food, and I appreciate you hearing my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to address the board? Seeing none, do we have anybody online? All right. Well, that moves us into our consent agenda. Commissioner Wheeler, do you have a motion ready?
I do, thank you, Chair. I move that the consent agenda items be voted on at one time by a roll call vote and be considered as a consent agenda by the board.
There's a motion moved and supported. Clerk, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Mazer, Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs, Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. 6 yes.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. Next is unfinished business and general orders. First, we have a request for approval of a resolution in support of the additional 9th Circuit Court Judge and 8th District Court Judge. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? This is an important step, and thank you to Representative Rogers for bringing this to our attention and fighting for us on behalf in Lansing. It's desperately needed. It might take a little while to get there, but we do need another judge, 2 more judges. That's a roll call vote, correct?
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs, Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer. 6 yes.
All right, that motion passes. Next, we have a request for approval of a resolution accepting a recommendation from the Gun Violence Prevention Ad Hoc Committee, ARPA. Commissioner Ray, do you want to make this motion? Do you have the exact language?
Sure, I'm assuming the motion is what's written here, and we just need to add the language, correct, Dr. Kelly?
That would be for the companion motion. So this is just the motion approving the ad hoc committee's recommendation to create that fund is what this specific action is for.
Okay, so I'll move that motion.
Support.
Motion moved and supported for the creation of the fund. Yep, I see it now. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs, Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
No.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer, Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Next, we have a request for approval to authorize board leadership to engage chief judges regarding a proposed court administrator employment agreements. NN? Oh, gosh, you're right. I went to new business. I apologize. We have a request for approval of a resolution authorizing negotiation and execution of a gun violence prevention and intervention field of interest fund agreement, ARPA. Any discussion? I will just say that the reason I approve or supported the last motion was because we're using a field of interest fund, and I think it gives us some more flexibility to raise money into that. Dr. Catlin, you could probably speak way better at this than I could.
No, well, I was debating with Commissioner Ray on. So there's just a couple of or a few things that needs to happen for this resolution to be finalized this evening. The first one that needs to happen is that the board needs to decide on a fund name through the Kalamazoo Community Foundation. And then what I have already provided Commissioner Ray was the description for the purpose of the fund that will be incorporated into the resolution. And then finally, the board needs to decide, because there was a desire to have some input from the Board of Commissioners in the allocation process from the fund. So the board needs to decide who from the board, and if not from the board, it can be other community members too, but up to 3 folks that can serve on that advisory committee that will decide on how the funds are dispersed from year to year. So there's 3 requests: fund name, the purpose of the fund, and then up to 3 individuals you'd like to appoint to that advisory body. So that way the clerk can record those and incorporate that into the final resolution.
Okay, you said year to year, but this was a one-time funding source we did, but it does allow the opportunity to fundraise from private.
That's correct, Chair. So this fund allows the board to continue to infuse it with money from year to year, and it will continue to grow. It'll be invested at the KZCF, so there'll be an actual spendable balance that the fund can allocate dollars to support certain programs, victims, that kind of thing.
Okay. Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. Now, I didn't know we had to name the fund today, but I do have the suggested purpose of the fund. If that needs to be read into the record, I can read that. And then also, of the 3 folks that we select to serve, I want to volunteer to serve. And then so I'll read it. To provide support to nonprofit organizations that provide services across Kalamazoo County for those individuals and families impacted by gun violence. This could include such services as violence prevention, intervention, youth engagement, victim support, and other initiatives designed to reduce the occurrence and impacts of gun violence throughout Kalamazoo County. Supported agencies could include Griffin Place, Urban Alliance, ISK, Moms Demand Action, and others. This list is not exhaustive.
Commissioner Morales.
I would support serving on the committee as well.
Commissioner Ray, Commissioner Morales, and Commissioner Gisler have expressed interest. And the reason I want the 3 up there is because I think there's 2 people that really support this, and 1 person I think that could be brought on to support this. So I think those 3 would be a really good representative of the board. If that's okay, Dr. Callan? Okay. Now we have to name a name of it, right?
That's right.
I say in the honor of Commissioner Hepler's absence, we call it the Live, Work, and Play Fund. Commissioner Morales.
Can we table it and think about it? Or we have to have a name tonight?
The Kalamazoo Community Foundation would rather have the name tonight, so that way they can begin the creation of the documents, the governing documents for the fund.
Okay.
Stay Safe Fund? Safe Kalamazoo. I am throwing wet noodles against the wall.
Does it have to, can we do it at, I'm sorry,
Go ahead, Commissioner Morales.
can we have a moment to think about it? Like, and go through the meeting and then come back to it? Okay, give us a moment, because just throwing a name out there.
Okay, this is a corporate council, so is it okay just to table this till the end of the meeting?
Yes, sir. The maker of the motion can make that request.
Okay, there is a motion to table this till the end of this meeting, or before members' time, or before reports of bodies, administrator, controller. How about that? And then we have public comment, and then somebody from the audience can come up with a name for us. Okay, the motion is to table this till after public comment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a support? Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This will be tabled till after we have an opportunity for the public to give us a name. Okay. Next, we have a new business, non-consent. Oh, is there any other unfinished business general orders, commissioners know of? No. Okay, next, new business, non-consent. We have a request for approval of funding for a pilot hair care service program for residents lodged at the Kalamazoo County Jail. The chair will entertain such motion. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Commissioner Wheeler.
I'll just reiterate that I think that this is a really great step in the right direction to provide dignity to those who are incarcerated.
I would concur with that statement, as well as usually there's a lot bigger price tag associated with what when we're trying to help out. This is a very small price tag, so I'm in support of this as well. Seeing no other discussions, clerk, will you please take roll?
Vice Chair Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue.
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler.
Not needing haircuts often myself, I don't want to deprive anybody else of getting them. Thank you. Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Heffler. Commissioner Mazer. Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
Chair Strips. 6 yes.
Okay, next we have, Chair will entertain a motion for request for approval to authorize an allocation up to $250,000 in funding to the United Way South Central Michigan Continuum of Care to support a Winter Solutions RFP. Okay, there's motion and support. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question. Do we have an opportunity for somebody from our board to sit on the committee that reviews the applications and ultimately makes the decisions?
Looks like Lindy Smith is going to direct, Deputy Director Administrator Smith.
Thank you. So right now, how we have set it up in the past, and we can always go back and inquire with the COC board, but that the funds would be determined, the awards would be determined by the COC board. Right now, we do have Chair Straubs that sits on that board as the commissioner representative.
Okay. Any other discussion? Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you. I know that they come back and ask us for this most years. Is this going to be a budget item from now on, or is it already?
That is actually, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's one item that I did discuss last meeting, but failed to actually include that in the discussion for tonight's meeting. So that was highlighted on here, that we would like to have some sort of direction of how y'all would like us to budget it. I know that was a lot of the conversation last time, that it seemed to be a desire to have it budgeted in the fiscal year 27, but we do still need direction from the board on what that amount would be, and also the budget you'd like to see that in. That also does not need to be determined tonight. That can be determined during the budget process and with the budget retreat too.
Okay. I will be supporting this because it says up to, and I would like to tell administration that doesn't mean you need to spend the full $250,000, just FYI. If they come up with a plan that makes sense and it doesn't come to that full 250, say it comes to 210, and there's some other program that went through the continuum of care that doesn't have the ability to get funded through that vehicle, we still have that difference of the 250 to do our own private project. But yes, I will be supporting this motion because it says up to, making sure that you guys know it's not, you have to get to 250.
I will say too, I believe all of the language from the other potential funders have included the up to as well. And that will be something that as that RFP gets released, we'll be talking with the COC of how that gets released. But I believe everyone else has included similar language. I do just want to point out too, the direction that we do need to know tonight is what funding, what budget needs to come from. So the two things we talked about last time that y'all wanted a little bit of time to think on was the golden ratio board priorities bucket or the housing millage bucket. So just needing some direction on that as well.
Are we using the 4.9 million for the golden ratio? We're not using the 5.1, we're using the 4.9. Okay. Commissioner Ray.
Excuse me. Of that 4.9, how much is ours? 1.5. So we don't actually know how much we have left in the housing millage fund for this year, correct? Director Balcom?
What about 50-50?
So I think like either buckets of funding has the funding available. So that's the good news there. I think this just comes down to the strategy. So 50-50 could be a strategy that y'all could pursue. I think what I've heard in some of the conversations is that y'all would like us to approach others to be contributing partners in the winter solutions to expand, maybe to see if other municipalities could chime in and things like that. With that in mind, I think some could argue it'd be a strong move to show that that was coming out of board priorities from the golden ratio, showing that the board is making that direct commitment to unhoused initiatives in collaboration with others. There may be, if it comes from the housing millage, there may be some pushback in that's already a housing millage where we're already contributing to. So we're already contributing to this initiative. So those are just maybe two strategies to consider as y'all are deciding between the funding.
We also have in our budget, our amended budget here through June, we budgeted $723,000 in contingencies, and we spent $51,786. Is there an earmark for that last $650? There is. Okay. And I noticed, and I appreciate this, the restricted reserve went down to like a couple $1,000s from 700. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then the strategic issues, we do have planned for the 192 that we've got still in there.
Yeah. Chair, yeah. So so there are some commissioners want to know what some of that funding is for the contingencies. A very large portion, if you recall, is to pay for the parental. What is it? The paternity establishments out of the prosecutor's office relinquished back to the state. They have touched base with the Corporation Council, and that bill is coming due. So a big portion of that is reserved for that purpose. Hopefully that answers your questions.
And we also are about 10% underspent halfway through the year on our Board of Commissioners budget as well. I hate, that's like the worst place I'd like to take it from but there's a couple different options, but I've got no problem taking it from, the golden ratio fund. I guess I'd like to look at everything that's getting asked to be taken out of that before we start like piecemealing it piece by piece by piece. So if all the things would come at the same time, it would be easier as a board. That being said, we do have to find and identify a source. We just got our audit comment. This is one time, and I certainly wouldn't recommend doing this on a regular basis. And Ryan's not in the audience, so he won't yell at me. But unrestricted on account and fund balance, we could use that. That might make a nightmare in the budgeting process. But those are all that's 3 or 4 different options. But it is the will of this board. I would rely heavily on recommendations from our administration that say it should be from one of those 2 buckets. That being said, I'm leaning towards a 50-50 split. But those are my thoughts on this. Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. I think Deputy Administrator Smith makes a really good point, especially when we're going to ask our community partners to pitch in. I think it should come out of board priorities, personally.
Commissioner DeLue.
Thank you, Chair. I asked at the last meeting if it could come out of the housing millage, and I was advised it could, and I totally support that. I think that's what the housing millage is for, and I know she may have cited it as a negative, but everybody in Kalamazoo County contributes to the housing millage, so basically everybody's contributing to the program. So that's my request.
Okay, so we got 1 50-50, 1 housing, and 1 board priorities. Commissioner Ray.
So I just feel like I'm kind of torn. As far as like the housing millage, I want to see us open up the portal for community to be able to apply. And I feel like we've made a lot of allocations without coming through the process, if you will, through the Housing Ad Hoc Committee. We've already done a lot of things without it going through the process, and this hasn't gone through the process. But I also feel really committed to being able to do community grants again. So I don't know if this has to come out of there or takes from that if we commit from the commissioner's budget. Do we have to make this decision now, or is this something we can have other budget discussions first and then make this decision?
Yeah, that's a great question, Commissioner Ray. So, Chair, Commissioners, I believe, when the contract comes back, that decision could be made then. As long as we have kind of a sense that the board does want to go through with this, we can at least inform the COC. The board is committed to supporting winter solutions. The funding we can figure out the source a little bit later. So we have some time. We just want to be able to tell them that we have and that we are committed, so that way they can start the RFP process and we're not behind the 8 ball on this.
Just, excuse me, one more question. When we say up to $250,000, how do we determine at what level? Because I know they can use the whole $250,000, but if we get commitments from other municipalities, do we say, oh, we're only giving $100,000 because they gave this? Is there like a cap? Are we trying to meet a specific goal of like $500,000 and we just see what we can collect? What are we doing with that up to amount?
I think at minimum, our goal is to try to maintain that $700,000 budget that we had last year. This will only be our 2nd year. And although we have seen significant contributions, largely because of this board, we have the landing place online. Therefore, we're not needing as much of a family shelter. Now, we still may need some family sheltering next year. The landing place is, close to being full. So even though we have addressed families, this board has addressed families, that still may be a need come winter. This board has also addressed medical respite. There still may be a need come this winter. So we would like to at least maintain the $700,000. With that said, we do know that the city of Kalamazoo, their up to budget is pretty significant. It's I believe in the bar, in the brief, I have it at $497,000. So they do have a pretty significant budget, but they're also looking at things too and looking at that up to language. So to, in a long way, answer your question, I apologize. I think what we'll look at is when the RFP goes out to see what type of applications come in, and to evaluate what we anticipate the need being. If we're having to look at for extreme weather, maybe ramping up to hoteling. I'm not saying we would, but that usually costs a lot more, and so that might be something that we're going to be weighing. But from this conversations with the COC, they had indicated they would like to at least stay at that $700,000.
It's basically the city of Kalamazoo, us, and then Continuum of Care puts in a very small amount, correct?
The Continuum of Care is deciding this, their board is deciding this week, but their language that they had put forward was up to 100,000.
That was significantly more than last year, was it not?
Yes. Also, I do want to just point out too that we are still waiting on the point in time count numbers to help also inform this decision too, which is why I think largely that up to language is being included.
And you're okay with us passing a resolution in support with commitment, but not identifying the funding source until 3 more commissioners get here?
As long as y'all are good with it. If y'all are good with it, we will let the COC know that we're good for up to 250. Their intent is to try to release that RFP by the end of July, early August, just so that y'all are aware.
You can let them know we have a lot of mattresses to dig under. So, okay, so Chair would entertain a motion with the suggested purpose of fund. Wait, no, that's not it. I'm sorry.
I can make a motion if you'd like, Chair.
Commissioner Wheeler, please.
I'll make a motion to approve, to authorize an allocation of up to $250,000 in funding to the United Way of South Central Michigan Continuum of Care to support a winter solutions RFP.
Discussion. Did we need a new motion now that we didn't identify the funding source? We did not. Okay, then I guess thank you, Commissioner Wheeler. We didn't need it. We were still operating under the original motion by Commissioner Ray. Any more discussion? Commissioner Gissler.
Yes, do we need to define winter? Sometimes winter needs don't always fall within the 3-month period that is designated on the calendar as winter. Maybe we need to be more precise or conceivably less precise.
That's actually a pretty decent point.
So we're
Commissioner.
I can answer that question. So we are actually defining it as the contracts would be defined as November 1 through March 31. We may be looking at that language of extending into April potentially to taper down services, but right now we're looking for November 1 through March 31, which is consistent to what we did this past winter.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Seeing no other discussion, clerk, will you please take roll? Yes. Council. That's right, because we're not allocating we're not telling where the money goes, or the money's from. I'm going to take a roll call just to be sure. Okay, clerk.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue,
Yes.
Commissioner Gissler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer, Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs, Vice Chair Taylor.
Yes.
6 yes.
All right, thank you very much. That motion passes. Next, we have a request for approval to authorize board leadership to engage chief judges regarding proposed court administrator employment agreements. And this is kind of one I asked administration for to put on the agenda because I don't feel comfortable unless you guys give me the authority or Chair Strebs and Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler the authority. I just feel more comfortable negotiating if I'm given the authority from the board as opposed to doing it out of the leadership capacity. Now, the reason this is happening is how much can I say? I'm going to let Dr. Catlin do this because I don't want to violate some labor laws or anything.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. So this evening, what's before you is just a motion to authorize, again, board leadership to negotiate and just have a conversation with the chief judges regarding proposed court administrator employment agreements. And the sheer fact of it is, or the mere fact of it is rather, is that, court administrators are appointed directly by chief judges that are elected, one by the general public on a 6-year term, but then they're elected internally as a chief judge every 2 years, and they serve at the behest of the chief judge solely. So unlike my position where I report to the 9-member elected body, they report directly to the chief judge and serve at their behest. And every 2 years, their job is, in a sense, it can be compromised, and so they would like some of that protection built in so that a new chief judge just can't come in and just wipe them out. And if they do wipe them out and terminate their employment for no cause, there would be some protection built in against that. So that's really the fact of the matter. And board leadership is seeking direction, or seeking approval rather, to meet with the chief judges to have further discussions, to then come back to this body, report out on those findings, and the chief judges and court administrators will likely be present, and then for the board to deliberate, make a decision moving forward.
And I think it's a reasonable request. However, it's bargaining. I mean, it's basically, in the elementary sense, it's the board is bargaining with this and to try to come up with the contract. And I didn't feel comfortable doing it as the vice chair of the county commission without the authority of the body giving me that approval. So that's why, if the board wants to do it and wants to do it as an ad hoc committee and meet with these judges, that's fine. Or Jeff and I can do it. That's fine as well. But I think it needs to be a decision by this full board to make, as opposed to just leadership.
Discussing, or has to be a motion?
I thought there was already a motion. Was there not a motion? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Now discussion. I apologize. Thank you, Commissioner DeLue. Commissioner DeLue.
Just a question. I'm fine with it as long as the three of you feel comfortable doing it. I don't know if there was somebody else you'd rather have than the.
Oh, no, we're not approving this. We're negotiating and bringing it back to the full board. The full board has to give their yay or nay. It's just us going in and coming up with what the deal could look like.
As long as you feel comfortable in even those discussions with the three of you, as opposed to having somebody else there, I'm fine with it.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. That's what I was going to say, is that no matter what, this has to come back to the full board for approval. And so, I mean, if we decide we don't like what occurred, we can always go back to the drawing board. So I'm okay with it as, for that reason exactly.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, clerk, will you take roll, please?
Commissioner DeLue?
Yeah.
Commissioner Gisler?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler? Commissioner Mazer? Commissioner Morales? Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
Chair Strips? Vice Chair Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes.
You have 5 yes.
All right, that motion carries. Any other new business that commissioners have? Seeing none, next is public comment. This is an opportunity for public to address the Board of Commissioners. Please give us your name. Where you're to go back to where?
Circle back to naming our.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're going to do it after public comment. So, and that's part of the reason. If anybody is in the public that would like to name a $250,000 gun violence safety, we are all open for ideas of the name of the fund. If you want to talk about anything else, please feel free to talk about anything else as well. But give us your name, where you're from, and you have up to 3 minutes. Thank you. Nobody wants to name a fund? Anybody online? Okay. Okay, we will close public, and this will bring us up. Go ahead.
I'd just like to, for the record, to reflect that members Mazer, Hepler, and Stribbs were officially excused from this meeting.
Yes, they were.
Thank you.
Deputy Administrator Smith, are you doing citizens time?
I don't have a recommendation for the name, but I did just want to remind everyone that we do have the county fair coming up in 2 weeks, and that y'all should have at your chairs received some information, the flyer. We're really excited about it. Director Rakowitz will be back in 2 weeks at the next meeting and highlighting it and speaking more to it, but I just wanted to make sure and use this opportunity to make sure y'all saw that and also help us spread the word. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us out of public comment, and now we are back to the tabled motion. Doing this right? Yes. Okay, now we're back to the tabled motion. I always look to the lawyer to keep me out of trouble. So we're back to a name. Does anybody have a name? Commissioner DeLue.
Well, kind of. I think I wanted to use the initials for Commissioner Gisler, Morales, and Ray. So it's GRA or GMA or GRM. So the only thing I came up with was the gun reduction movement. But it doesn't really flow, but that's using your 3 initials. That's all I care about.
The Gun Reduction Movement Fund. Kalamazoo, Commissioner Ray.
That was very creative. I used the internet for some help, and I found Pathways to Peace Fund, investing in safer neighborhoods through prevention, intervention, and healing. I thought that was good.
I like Pathways to Peace. I think that's better than Stay Safe Kalamazoo. We're getting better the longer we go. Okay, so, okay, we've got a motion for Path. Was it Path to Peace?
Just whoever makes the motion, please, the first line, I like to take from the table, the motion, and then go forward with it.
Okay.
Chair, may I? So I noticed in the packet that the incorrect resolution was made publicly available. I just noticed that we actually had made some revisions based on what the Kalamazoo Community Foundation wanted us to do tonight. So what I'd like to do, if this body is willing to allow me, is to read this resolution. That way that is read into the record. I can provide it to the clerk's office. There are just some things in here that changed based on the requirements that they needed, the fund name, the purpose of the fund, and the folks that are being named to that advisory committee.
I think that's a great idea. You name it, and then please somebody say so moved afterwards.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. I'll try my best. So this resolution, most of it is the same, but I just want to read it into the record so that way publicly we're just protected there. So the title is Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners, Resolution Number 2026-882, a resolution authorizing the County Administrator Controller to negotiate and execute an agreement with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation for the establishment of a gun violence prevention and intervention field of interest fund. Whereas the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners adopted Resolution 2026-880, accepting the recommendation of the Gun Violence Prevention Ad Hoc Committee and authorizing the allocation of $200,000 from ARPA Project String ARPA 2022-2-00069-00214 for the establishment of a gun violence prevention and intervention field of interest fund. And whereas the Board of Commissioners has determined that partnering with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation provides an opportunity to create a sustainable funding mechanism dedicated to supporting gun violence prevention, intervention, youth engagement, restorative practices, victim services, trauma-informed programming, and other community-based public safety initiatives. And whereas the Kalamazoo Community Foundation has requested that the Board of Commissioners establish the proposed fund name, charitable purpose and advisory committee framework to allow completion of the letter of direction necessary to establish the field of interest fund. And whereas the board desires to authorize the county administrator controller to negotiate and execute the necessary agreement and letter of direction consistent with the policy direction established herein, subject to approval as to form by Corporation Council. And now therefore it be resolved that the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the establishment of a field of interest fund with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation under the following proposed name, Fund Name Pathways to Peace. And be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners establishes the following charitable purpose to be incorporated into the letter of direction. Purpose of the fund: to provide support to nonprofit organizations that provide services across Kalamazoo County for those individuals and families impacted by gun violence. This could include such services as violence prevention, intervention, youth engagement, victim support, and other initiatives designed to reduce the occurrence and impacts of gun violence throughout Kalamazoo County. Supported agencies could include Griffin Place, Urban Alliance, ISK, Moms Demand Action, and others. This list is illustrative and not exhaustive. And be it further resolved that the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners designates the following individuals to serve as the county's initial representatives on the advisory committee established in conjunction with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation, with the understanding that the committee shall serve in an advisory capacity only and that the final grant-making authority shall remain with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation Board of Trustees. The representatives are Tammy Ray, County Commissioner, Montiz Morales, County Commissioner, and John Gisler, County Commissioner. And be it further resolved that the County Administrative Controller is authorized to negotiate and execute the necessary agreement, letter of direction, and any ancillary documents required to establish the field of interest fund, provided such documents are consistent with the policy direction established by this resolution and Resolution 2026-880, and are approved as to form by Corporation Council. And be it finally resolved that the county administrative controller is authorized to take all administrative actions necessary to implement this resolution and effectuate the establishment and administration of the field of interest fund with the Kalamazoo Community Foundation. There we go.
All right, it was moved by Commissioner Ray, and thank you, Dr. Catlin, and supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Any discussion? All right, clerk, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer, Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs, Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLuke.
Yes.
6 yes.
That motion carries. Okay, next we have reports of officers, bodies, administrators, controllers. I'll be quick. I know Chair Strebs wanted to be here. Stuff came up, but she will be here at the next meeting. Hopefully, I don't have to do this again. This is the second to last meeting for Dr. Catlin. So the last one, we've got to do something really special. So I've been in communication with some folks, but we've got the county fair. Deputy Director Smith has talked about this, and I'm just really proud at how much the fair has improved. And where we were 3 years ago and where we are now is night and day. Where we can go 3 years from now, it would be even better. But I'm never gonna kick progress. I think we have progress on this fair, and I'm proud of our administrative team for working towards this, and Dave Rakowitz for working towards this. I think this was a step in the right direction. Our community has been asking us for it, and we're getting there. That being said, we've got a budget coming up, and we're going to have to make a lot of really tough choices. This isn't going to be like the last few budgets that we had. We're going to have to make some tough choices, and whether it's travel, training, cost of living, all these different things. I don't think one solution is going to be it. It's going to take a lot of little solutions to add up to the big picture. So I look forward to working with Dr. Catlin, with I'm getting it, everything wrong. Deputy Administrator Smith and Cole, and getting our budget together so that we have a structural plan moving forward for the next 3 to 5 to 10 to 20 years. And I think this board is up to the challenge. It's going to take some work, and we're going to have to be in some meetings that we're going to miss some stuff. But if we put the work in, I think the citizens will be in a much better shape. So, Dr. Callan.
I will also keep it very brief this evening. I appreciate the discussions, deliberations we had tonight. There's a lot of work that just happened there, and it was very exciting. Just want to remind the board and the public that we have a few special board meetings. So tomorrow actually is one beginning at 2:30 to continue discussions on the county's long-range financial planning and budget priorities. On Monday, July 27th, we also have a special board meeting beginning at 2 p.m. to also continue those same discussions. And then next week as well, on Wednesday, July 29th, is the board's budget retreat beginning at 10 a.m. at the Kalamazoo County Expo Center. So the first two meetings on July 22nd and the 27th will actually be in conference room 207A next door. And then we'll see you on the 29th out at the Expo Center. And that's all I have this evening, Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner DeLue.
Wow. Thank you. Gun reduction movement. No. Okay. Anyway, Commissioner Hepler is not here tonight, and in light of the happenings here in Kalamazoo County in the last 2 weeks involving law enforcement, I think we're very fortunate, and that especially when you read what actually happened the other day, that the deputy is extremely fortunate that he's alive, basically. And so, like Commissioner Hepler always says, thank those out there in uniform in law enforcement, the EMS, the firefighters, and because they do help make Kalamazoo County a great place to live, work, and play. So, thank you.
Commissioner Gessler.
Thank you. I'll be very brief also. I just want to comment that having sat in with the Fair Council when it existed for a significant number of meetings, they've got two of the things headed up this year that I really like. I'm a big rodeo fan, and I certainly love elephant ears. Thank you.
Commissioner Morales.
I have nothing. I'm glad the officer is doing well. I heard that they were back at home. Surgery went well. So lifting that family up and hoping that he has a speedy recovery.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. Ditto marks to that for that officer and his family. Just a reminder that you should make your plan to vote on August 4th is the election. And with that in mind, our next commission meeting is on August 5th, which is a Wednesday. So don't miss that. I almost didn't have it in my calendar, right? So make your plan to vote and then come tune in to our meeting on August 5th. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank all the clerks, especially the township clerks that are out there doing this. They are the unsung heroes of election season. So thank you. With that, we are adjourned.